Hey everybody, it's Dr. Daniel, and I'm going to do a very quick video, or maybe not so quick, on what I would call biohacking. What biohacking is working out how to get your body to work more effectively, but a hack, meaning you don't have to do as much, but you get more out of it. So more bang for your buck. And these videos the video will pause briefly as I go from one video to the other because I'm going to pull in various expert videos that I found across the internet. So you don't have to believe me. And these are, again, 5 quick steps in terms of helping your body, specifically with regards to insulin sensitivity, because insulin resistance is a big problem. Okay, so hold on. Okay, and so this fellow's name is Andrew Huberman. He has an expert on regarding insulin sensitivity. And what she's going to talk about is taking walks and how to use 22% more glucose, which again is going to dump your glucose levels in a good way after eating.
I have heard that a short walk after a meal will reduce blood glucose in a way that's really dramatic.
Huge amount, 35% just taking a walk around the block after a meal. That's definitely a prescription I think everyone should do because the research is so strong on it, is that building in simply a 10-minute walk around the block or a dance party in the kitchen, moving your muscles for 10 minutes after a meal can drastically reduce your glucose response because you're just bringing all those channels to the membrane, you're taking up the glucose you're using. It's a whole different physiology than sitting on the couch after a meal.
Okay, and so I had read 22%. She's saying 35%. And she, of course, I don't focus on glucose. I'm a neuropathy guy. But what that's telling us, and she said dance party in the kitchen, that just means moving around, getting those bodies moving, getting those muscles moving so they start firing, so they start using glucose. So that's the first tip. And of course, that's
very high impact. It's high leverage.
And that's number one. Okay. And I will, again, I'm going to pause so I can get to the next one. So that's the first step, is to get moving after meals. And we have 3 meals a day, which means that 3 times a day you can do a quick 10 minutes. Walk around the block, dance party in the kitchen. Of course, if you're unstable, be careful. You got the countertops. There's ways to, again, serve yourself. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to get to point number 2. Okay, and this next one is also very easy. It's not always just what we're eating, but when we're eating. And I'll let him go in a little more detail, and then we'll move on to the next one. So number 1 is moving more, immediately following meals. Number 2 is timing.
Let's say you go to bed at 10 o'clock. 3 hours before, at 7 o'clock, you are done with eating. No more foods, no more snacks, no more anything. Anything that can be processed as nutrition, no more of that. Can you take supplements before bed? Yes. Can you take herbs before bed? Yes. Could you take herbal teas? We'll get to that in a moment. The answer would be yes after that 7 p.m. All right? No calories, no real fat. Why? We're trying to turn off our digestive system. Our energy gets woken back up and ramped up in order to break down food.
Okay, and what he's telling us, and what we know, or what I'm sharing, is that once the tank runs empty after that 3-hour period, then your body's going to start metabolizing other things to create energy. And of course, that's easy. It's cheap and easy because the only thing left in there in the tank, so to speak, will be the fat in your body. So it will start metabolizing. So that would be number 2, right? Number 1, movement after exercise. Number 2, after 7 or 8, it's too late, depending on your bedtime. Okay. And the other thing that we know is that we want to control insulin response. And one of the things that I'm seeing more and more now, unfortunately, is Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy. Those are all semaglutides, which of course slow our ability to process food by paralyzing the gut. Those are called GLP-1 in peptides or inhibitors. And so that actually, if you don't know, comes from the poison of the Gila monster. So technically actually poisoning your body. And berberine, which this fellow is going to talk about, is a natural way for you to blunt insulin response very effective, very safe, and just as effective as metformin, but I'll let him talk briefly.
Supplements are sometimes just as powerful as drugs. And if you cannot convince your doctor to get metformin, there is an alternative. It's a plant molecule called berberine from the berber plant. And in clinical trials, if you take it at 2 grams a day, it does lower blood glucose, similar to metformin. And that you can buy online.
That's where I began. After we did our interview, I went to my doctor and I said, we're good.
Okay. And again, very easy thing to do. When they say 2 grams, it's actually 2,000 milligrams, in case you were wondering. And all of that, again, is a way to help your body manage insulin and increase insulin sensitivity while reducing insulin resistance, which, of course, we all know is the way to be successful in lowering the A1C, which is also a way to lower metabolic inflammation, which is the first domino that I talk about when we're treating neuropathy. And another thing that you might have heard so far or recently or in the past is that sitting is the new smoking. And what that means is that we're not meant to be sedentary. We're not meant to be inactive. And again, pulled another video from an expert online. Let her speak briefly before we move on to our next point.
If you have type 2 diabetes, you got to stop sitting. Research have found that longer sitting time.
And I just want to let everybody know it's not just if we have type 2 diabetes. If we're pre-diabetic, we're insulin resistant, or even if we don't have diabetes, it's not good to sit for extended periods of time.
Time is associated with higher risk for all-cause mortality and heart disease mortality in people who have diabetes. So usually when I film, I sit on a chair. Usually when I work, I have a standing desk so I can stand. And
all she's talking about is that it's good to be up and moving around. Even if you're just standing and weight shifting, that's good. They've also found that if you are sitting, so you're watching TV, you're working, that if you just get up, stand for 5 minutes or move around back and forth, to and fro for 5 minutes every 30 minutes, just set yourself an alarm. Even though it seems tedious, you're actually doing your body and your metabolic system a great favor. Okay, so that's the next point, and then I believe we have one more to go over, and then we'll recap. Okay, and this last one can be hard, difficult for patients who have neuropathy to accomplish, because sleeping when the symptoms can tick up, whether it's burning or numbness or tingling or the pain, very often happens at the end of the day for patients, and they have difficulty sleeping. But this talks about how that has basically a snowball effect on your body. Less sleep, more problems, less, and it kind of feeds on it. And that's one of the things that we notice, or that I notice with patients as they go through the program, is they report that they're sleeping more soundly, they're sleeping longer. And again, I'll just let him speak briefly.
An individual who is sleep deprived in just 7 days will test for insulin resistance. So your journey from being healthy to potentially type 2 diabetic can be that rapid with sleep deprivation. And there's a direct correlation between the two. I was looking after 14 metabolic clinics at one stage pre-COVID, and there is not one person that I consulted that was overweight or suffered from obesity that said to me, Moody, I sleep well. Every single one of them that had metabolic syndrome, had problems with weight gain, had health issues, had cholesterol issues, had type 2 diabetes, every single one of them had sleep problems.
And so, again, sleep is key. And I'm going to just review quickly all the points. Number 1, walk after eating. So that's 3 walks a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Or if you only do 2 meals, lunch and dinner, because if you're not eating, you're not going to get a spike. If it's after 7 or 8, it's too late. Of course, that's, if you have a 10 or 11 o'clock bedtime. Based on your bedtime, you want to eat 3 hours before bed, which will increase fat burn by up to 98%. That's an easy biohack. Berberine, they said 2 milligrams, which again is 2,000 milligrams per day. Now, be careful. I'm not recommend, you have to do your own research on this one. If you're currently taking medications, you do have to be careful, because taking the berberine on top of metformin or insulin will reduce the blood sugar rates more. So need to be aware of that and dose accordingly. Stand up. So we're not meant to sit. Stand up, move around 5 minutes every 30 minutes. Work standing up if you can. spend more time upright, try not to be sedentary. Again, sitting is the new smoking. And then, of course, last but not least, it fixes your sleep. And he didn't mention it, but just taking a little bit of magnesium glycinate. And of course, you've probably heard of magnesium before, but magnesium glycinate specifically helps the body let down and rest. And you would take that 30 to 60 minutes prior to bedtime, and that will also aid in sleep. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know. This will be the first of several biohacking techniques that you can use to help manage blood sugar, help improve your body's function, and over the long run, coupled with other things, help the neuropathy reverse itself. And yes, neuropathy can reverse itself. I'll say that over and over again. I'm a broken record on that one. I have patients who have firsthand experience with that. Okay, hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, bye-bye.